So I wanted to talk about choice and the choices we're making in our lives in relation to our spiritual paths in particular. So it seems really important that we realize we have a choice in everything that happens in our lives, even if it's about how we perceive what's happening in our lives. You know, some people can have something happen and they see it as good, and somebody else would see it as something negative or unhappy. So our perceptions are key here, and our attitudes. But the point is that we have a choice about how we interpret or perceive things, and that it definitely affects the outcome of what's going to happen in our lives. So we can choose who and what we want within our energy field. And you choose that, make a decision, maybe you decide to move someplace, and then if you don't like it or you're dissatisfied with it, you can choose again. And just don't get stuck in one place or one thought or one idea. Remember the old saying that was, "You made your bed, now lie in it." It's a terrible saying. And yet it was really the attitude of so many people in those olden days. If you made a mistake, well, too bad. You know, you were stuck with it for life, was the way of thinking. And now we're so much more open to knowing we can keep making changes. You can move and change as often as you want to. So it's very important to remember that, and to remember that we do have control over our own lives. And then the other point of view, if you think about karmic patterns, the karmic patterns might say, well, we reap what we sow. And so in a way that seems to confirm that old attitude. But from what I understand now, and I'd like to suggest that we are moving beyond karma. So at any moment, we can choose to release all karma and clean up our auric field and our emotional and mental bodies and be done with it. Just make the choice. So that's a lot of what's happening right now. We have the choice to remain in the old world of duality or move on to the world of complementarity, where we're all together, the dodecahedron. And it's helpful, I think, to remember that the universe matches back to you whatever vibrations you are putting out. So the more you can find ways to have joy and be surrounded by people who bring you joy, then that's what comes back to you. Sometimes people feel guilty. You know, they feel responsible for other people who they've been taken care of or who they feel need them. And that's a hard one because you don't want to hurt anyone. You really care about these other people. But guilt is really something that can be used to hold people back. And really it often refers to being afraid to be ourselves and really to stand up for our right to be happy. So I know when I decided to change my life, and I've done that a few times now, I always look carefully at trying to do it with great awareness and caring for the other people in my life. But ultimately, I knew I was going to go ahead and make those changes because that's what I came here for. So I learned that not only can I choose and create my own life now, I can also create the future for myself. And in fact, it was even my responsibility to do so. Kind of my job as a spiritual being on this planet. So what future would I want? I don't know how often people think about that. I mean, aside from some of the ideas like to have, maybe you might want a house and you might want to have security, whatever that means in your future. But what do we really want in the future?